Hey everybody, this is Eli with Elfbait. You know where you are. Doing a little bit something different today. I will not be gracing you with my face on my camera. I'm just going to go ahead and let this image float up here while I say a few things that have been on my mind. There has been a lot of talk for a long time, but recently, a kind of a uptick in this of the right, the wrong ways to play games, and fun. Fun is a loaded word in gaming. A lot of people want to hold it up there as the most important thing, and I believe that to a great degree, that is true. If we're not having fun, why are we playing games? I'm sure there are reasons out there that transcend fun or supersede fun. Those are going to be edge cases, niche cases. They're going to be very exceptional in their nature, and they're not going to be why the vast majority of us play games. Fun comes in two categories: personal fun and group fun. This is how I like to look at it, at least. We each of us are responsible for both when we sit down to play games. Not only are we responsible, but we have to hold ourselves accountable to maintain those levels of fun that are important to us as individuals, but also to the people that we're playing with, that we've agreed to sit down at the table with as a group. This is often referred to as the social contract. And social contract, I think, is a fair title for it, and I'm not going to go ahead and argue against it with some sort of new, insightful term. But ultimately, yes, it is a social contract. It's an agreement between people in a society, whether that society is society at large or society as it pertains to our gaming table, a little micro society. So, what is personal fun? Personal fun is what you as an individual require to have fun in your games. What this is takes many forms, and again, it's up to you. It's up to you to hold to those requirements for fun, while also not imposing them on others in a way that is unwanted, unwelcome, unwarranted, or otherwise just a detriment to the gaming experience as a whole, and I will even extend to the hobby as a whole. Problem individuals within a greater community stand out much larger and louder than the vast collection of fair to Midland or really good, nice guy gamers out there. As a person who's coming to a table and looking after, the care and feeding of your personal fun, be mindful of what's going on at the table. Be willing to walk away from a table if it is not delivering what you want. Be willing to gracefully bow out if that gaming group is not to your liking. Your personal fun does not give you license to try and change the group dynamic, try and change the game that is being played, to force folks to shift around you to accommodate you at the game. We're talking about to accommodate you in play of the game. We're not going to get into physical accommodations or anything like that for personal needs. We're talking about personal fun here. That said, your personal fun is not a matter of absolutes. You can adjust your meter for personal fun. Consider it an investment if you're new to game or new to a group, to adjust your fun sliders for lack of a better term, to better allow you to integrate with that group. As long as it's not breaking a hard limit or a hard rule, some flexibility is, in the long run, going to benefit you. It is very possible that your concept of personal fun is based on a limited exposure and a limited experience to and with forms of gaming and styles of play. So your willingness to adjust your gaming personal fun slider, or whatever you want to call it, may open up new doors and new windows to your gaming hobby. Also, your investment and your willingness to perhaps adjust, and again, we're talking about those soft adjustments that don't break the deal for you, can result in the chance to play games that are more to your liking in the future. If you're investing your time in building a bond and assimilating yourself into a gaming group, you are in a much better position to have people to play with in the future. And if you turn out to be a decent person and you're fun to play with, they're more than likely going to be willing to say, hey, let's play the way that you want to play now. Don't come to a game that has set parameters and try and shoehorn your exception into the game. I'm not saying don't be creative. I'm not saying don't be imaginative. Certainly exceptional characters and edge case characters do exist in fiction and in film and in print and in comic books and TV and all of those places where we get our inspiration. But you have to be willing to hear the word no. And you are better off if, after hearing that word, you're willing to roll with it and make something that fits the game. You will end up playing a game that may not be your perfect fun, but it'll be fun. And then later on, once people have a chance to play with you and they get a feel for you and you have made friends and associates and contacts, you can play what you want to play. Maybe you can run what you want to play. So that's personal fun. Hold yourself accountable for your personal fun. Take responsibility for it. Protect your fun, but also be willing to be flexible and accommodating where you can. Now, group fun. Group fun is the fun that everybody is having at the table. Group fun is the agreed upon level of fun, type of fun that we're all going to have. This is often a mix, a blend, a melange, if you will, of different play styles and different characters and different levels of role-playing skill. There are dials and sliders in this as well. And as an individual coming to a table, you are agreeing to adhere to those group requirements. If you're in a group and you're having a new person come to your game, while it's important to protect your group fun, do so with a sense of acknowledgement and understanding that somebody coming to your group is new to your group and is not aware or doesn't have the knowledge of how you guys do things. Help them integrate into your group. If you want to play with them, then you are better off bringing them into your group. Just as the individual protecting their individual fun is ultimately better off by adapting and adjusting their style in little ways to get them into games, a group also benefits. If you can accommodate a newcomer to your group, then you have gained a new gaming buddy. You've gained a new voice in your game. You've gained a new person to bring new variables and new experiences to your game, and you'll be better off for it. Sometimes it means working with that individual. As a DM myself, as a GM myself, when I am bringing in new players into my game and they come in with their, for lack of a better term, and I say this with all love and endearment, their naivete about what the game is and what they can do, I have found that it's very beneficial to work with them to find some middle ground there that fits their character and allows their character to fit the campaign. Sometimes it means flexing a little bit and maybe allowing something that you hadn't previously considered allowing, but finding a way to where it works within your preset parameters. If a player really wants to play a race that isn't in your game that you're playing, you're not hurting anything if you can find a way to fit it into your world. Maybe you just didn't think about it. Maybe it's not a hard line for you. All of that said, you still have to protect the group dynamic. And it's okay to have hard, fast limits. It's okay to say, no, that's not what we're going to do here. But I think it's also important to present alternatives then to protect the group fun, but also to allow that person coming to the group to have their personal fun in your group. They may not be aware of all of the options coming into your game. They may not have considered something that works perfectly well for them. A lot of times I find that it's very good to look at the core of what they're trying to play as a character and find something that fits that within the game that you're running. Groups are made stronger when they are cohesive, but they're also strongest when they are willing to bend and flex so they don't break. The group fun is important. It's just as important as the personal fun. But you want to make sure that in the pursuit of maintaining your group fun, you are not removing the possibility and the room for there to be individual personal fun. So anyways, that was what I wanted to talk about today. Fun and what it means in gaming, and really things we can do to look at it when we're approaching the game. I really do feel that gaming and gaming groups and individual players are always better off when they approach the hobby in a mindset that is adaptable and willing to listen and be open to ideas and concepts rather than limiting themselves to a very specific method of play. This applies to both personal fun and group fun. Anyways, that is what I had to say on that topic. I hope folks enjoy what I had to say. Maybe it's useful to you. Have a good one. And as always, get out and game.